Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bag Collection Podcast. I am so sorry for the delay in a new episode. I've just been so busy with personal life and work, but I am so happy to bring on my wonderful friend who I grew up with, graduated high school with, my friend Z. And if you are into wrestling, you may know him as Zeke Mercer. I'm just so grateful for our friendship. He is such a wonderful person and he's just incredible at wrestling. So check out his work when you can. As always, like, comment, and share. Enjoy.
Hi.
Hi. Is it better if I turn my phone this way or
Whatever way works for you.
okay?
How are you?
I just got off work and there was a shit ton of cops at the what's it called?
Oh gosh.
Sheets. So yeah, that was fun.
Always.
Oh, it's fun. I think Eli's coming back inside, but whatever.
It happens. So, let's just jump right in. So, what have you been doing since you've been out of school during quarantine and everything?
Basically school, and then I got done with school. Yeah, so and then wrestling.
Wrestling. You're still wrestling?
Yeah, from time to time.
So I'm guessing that you don't have any crowds. You're just doing I saw you post a couple live streams, so you're just doing live streams and stuff.
Hold on, what?
Okay.
Elijah, I'm on the phone, bro. She said you can come say hi. I guess she's gonna edit it out.
Hello.
Hey, Brandon. Where my interview at?
Huh?
I thought I was popular. I ain't cool. That's tough. You don't like me anymore? I see how it is.
That's not true.
I can't hear it. I heard what? That's not true?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
You
love
never
you.
contact me for no interview.
Because you're not in the entertainment business. You're an airman.
I'm in the business of making things happen. That's what it is.
Period. Tell him, E.
What?
Tell him.
I don't know why it's been low volume, but whatever. That's Zoom for you.
Oh, wow. You got Zoom?
Yeah, you can. Can I get back to my interview so I can get
So, like I was saying, so you have been just doing live stream wrestling, no crowds.
Basically.
And you're just doing that every now and then. And then you're working now. How long have you been working again?
Like 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Like three weeks.
Yeah, I'm starting on my second week of my new job. So yeah, I get it. Yeah, I've been off since I came home in March. So yeah, it's kind of it's a shift for sure. But yeah.
Yeah. I hate working.
No, yeah, for sure. So wrestling. You did it. Well, we went to high school together.
Yes. Oh, there we
So
go.
best of friends. You, me, and Eli love it. You did wrestling in high school, and now you're pretty much in the professional wrestling industry. So, for those who don't know the difference really between like wrestling with a school or like professional wrestling, can you explain like the differences and such?
I guess I can explain like an example. Like when you think of wrestling in the Olympics, you think of like the singlets or the unitards, everyone keeps calling them, and then like the mat wrestling. I guess a good person would be like, well, from my school, like Garrett Ninehouse. You type his name in, you'll see him. Or Kurt Angle in the Olympics in '96, you'll see how he wrestled. And then professional wrestling is what I guess you would call that WWE stuff, or what your old parents would call it the WWF. Basically, like that is that business. So that's the difference. I mean, it's more performance-like instead of fighting.
You kind of got more into that starting with a little group, Cannonsburg, which is it's so cool
so
and funny. Everyone starts different. So how did you and those that are still doing it come up with the name, come up with how you were going to arrange the matches, the titles, and so on and so forth?
All right, so basically what you're referring to is like backyard wrestling, which I think every wrestling fan or pro wrestling fighter done somewhat in their life, like just either like you wrestle in the living room, we just jumping on a trampoline, which is basically what we did, jumping on a trampoline. But yeah, a bunch of wrestling friends, like a bunch of wrestling fans and us decided like, hey, we want to start this out and start this. And I wasn't in the beginning. I came in like 3-4 months later when everything started because I met the two who ran it. I met the one kid who ran it in gym class, actually. That's how I met him. He was in gym class. And we was talking about wrestling. He's like, hey, I got this backyard fed. And I was like, do you want to join? I said, I got nothing to do. Let's do it. So I joined them. I was with them for a couple of years, on and off. So, yeah.
And then, so do you guys mainly, I've seen posts and stuff. So were they mostly posted on YouTube or Facebook? Like what platforms did you guys use specifically?
YouTube. It's mainly YouTube. We tried Facebook, but Facebook still censors things like violence. So like YouTube was like, we have a ton of backyard wrestling from every decade. So just throw it up.
Gotcha.
You can kind of still go back and watch all of them. So.
Right. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Oh, it's super cringy though. I'll give you that. Like it's super cringy, but like when you first start in entertainment business, it's cringy.
So what is it called again?
Oh, it's changed names. It's like HFW now. I'm not in it, but like it's changed multiple times. It was CWA, Canonsburg Wrestling Association, and then it was PGW, Proving Grounds Wrestling, and that was something else. I haven't been that place. I kind of keep up with it, but after I left, I stopped doing 2017, I believe. Yeah, 2017. I kind of stopped doing it. But yeah, that's all I.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It happens. You get more busy as you get older. It happens. Like you said, you recently finished up school, and you've been wrestling at certain events between school, and even you were doing it while we were finishing up high school, right?
Yeah, I was training where I was doing high school. I gave up amateur so I can do professional, so I couldn't do both.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what made you really want to join the more professional side of it? Did you ever consider wrestling for college? Or were you more into the professional side of it?
I thought about like the background for me doing amateur wrestling. My stepmom was like, you do a sport or you're going to get sent back to Mississippi River by your mom. I was like, well, screw that. I'm not doing that. I'm going to pick a sport. And I didn't want to play football. I'm short. I'm too short to play football. And I was too small to play football. I was like, no. Hockey's too expensive. Because let's be honest, like I'm not just not $5 for like knee pads and all that.
Yeah,
soccer,
I get that.
Soccer, my technique like already came on when I was like 14. I can't be playing soccer. even though I was like a pretty good left defender, I cannot play soccer anymore. And then I think it was down to like roller like hockey or whatever, and then like wrestling was left, and I was like, well, amateur wrestling is close to professional wrestling. Just do that, and it's a martial art. And I've already done like a couple of different martial arts, so I was like, I might as well do something under my belt. So I did that. Did that until my junior year. So from 7th grade till about my junior year. So about 5-6 years, I think. Yeah.
Nice. So was the transition hard for you to go from amateur into the more professional side of it? Was it more conditioning or like working out?
I would say amateur wrestling had me on the conditioning part.
Okay.
It just, I guess because we're from Camac, and Camac's a good wrestling school because your family's a big like wrestling family. So I'm pretty sure they can all tell stories of like running 5 miles and all that. Like I think that was like Marine training, like compared to
because I remember my dad he tells me stories all the time, like how you have to meet weight. You always you were always running and conditioning, and like if you didn't meet weight, like it was almost the end of the world. Like you had to meet like a specific one and all that. And then you had to watch like what you ate, and you can only eat so much. And then sometimes you had to like really cut down on it. Like there was just a lot like going into that.
We have something called ring shape, or like if you're like very ring, like you have to be it's a different type of conditioning because anyone, if you're a good runner, a good athlete, you can run 6 miles, right? You can do that like maybe like 45 minutes. But it's different when you're running the ropes, takes the bump, do this sequence, remember to play up to the crowd, remember certain, I guess you would call stunts to do, remember how you're supposed to act like you're hurt. You gotta remember all this stuff as you're like doing the match. So like, yeah, you can run 6 miles, but if you're trying to do all of that and get beat up, it's a different type of conditioning. It's more like a body and mind conditioning versus wrestling. Just you get your body in shape, and then you be, ready to wrestle. It's more like we're training your body and your mind at the same time to do multiple actions, different things. Because when you watch a wrestling match, you may say, "Oh, he's got body slammed." Well, that guy who got body slammed has to know the next spot, how to sell, where to sell, how to play up to the camera. If he's going to say something into like the camera, he has to say that exact thing. Or unfortunately, if you had to do like a 30-minute match and then cut a whole 10-minute promo after, you have to remember what you're saying as you're wrestling. So it's a different type of conditioning, I will say. It still will kick your ass. It will still make you want to quit.
Oh, 100%. Well, and of course, like you have as well, like we grew up watching WWE and, it used to be WWF, now WWE. But you can tell, like, not only do they have to focus on the moves that they're supposed to do, but they work out their matches even like before they go out and do them. They have to make sure they're following that. They know what they're supposed to say or what they have to say. And that's why the promos, I would say, are almost just as important as a match. Like, you have to make sure you're hitting all of that.
Those are you would call them your lines. In a sense, yeah, you were calling your lines, yeah.
Right.
And the scary thing, I don't know if any actor can just do this, but like, we have something called calling on the fly. Let's say you're like late to the show, you just got dressed, you're in your gear, or whatever. You guys like, well, we don't have time to go to the match, so we're gonna call on the fly. They literally just go out there and like kind of talk to each other and do a whole match, and then walk off. So like, it'd be no preparation, but only like I'll say a very few people can actually just do it. Like a great person would be Ric Flair. He can do it all the time. He did that most of all the time. So like, if you watch any Ric Flair match, it could be a good chance he called that as they're wrestling. So,
nice, yeah.
I can't really do that yet. I've done it somewhat. I'm like 47-year-old now. Like, I will 70% mess it up, but I'll 4% get it right.
Well, hey, like, it takes practice, and if you're very passionate about it, which to me it seems like you really are, then the more you practice, the better you'll get. So have you been considering trying out to get into the WWE or a different company or anything, or have you not really thought that far yet?
I mean, I've thought far, like, it kind of like have like a bullet points, like, okay, I'll do this, but if this changes, it's not gonna be a big thing. But my focus right now is like pretty much my schooling. I would treat wrestling, pro wrestling, even though it's a profession, like kind of like a hobby, in a sense. Like, I mean, I do both wrestling and school, so I'm gonna be mostly focused on school. Like, I mean, if it comes up, if I have a chance to like try it for any company, where it's like Impact or AEW or WWE or whatever, MLW, if I could do it, I would do it. But like, I'm not really playing that far yet. I gotta see what happens after I graduate college.
Well, what are you going for again?
Criminal justice.
Nice. Well, see, it's so weird because a lot of people ended up going for that. And if I wouldn't have chose acting or just like being involved in this industry, period, it would have been criminal justice. Because I just love, I don't know. I took forensic science when I was in high school, and I loved it so much.
That's a hard field to get into. Getting a forensic stuff, that's a hard field. I mean, good luck. That's a lot of science. I'm too dumb for that. That's why I can't do the forensic science part that well.
I mean, hey, if you ever go and try out for any of those, please let me know. You'll have 100% support. I will be cheering you on. And WWE, you better watch out for this man.
Everyone says
AEW,
that.
everyone watch out for him.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I want to wrestle like all my life.
Well, yeah.
They signed that's a couple years. So I'm like, I don't know about all that. But
well, yeah, you never know where life will lead you.
Right. Well, whatever. Whatever happens, and I'm not really too mad. If I had to stop wrestling to pursue, my criminal justice career, like I'm not gonna be mad. I just wanted to I didn't want to be 35 and be like, oh man, this wrestling's great nowadays. Man, I wish I would have done it. And I didn't want to have that. Like, if I was gonna be a wrestler, I didn't even care if I didn't make it past the training. But if I just said like, you know what, I tried, I would be like totally fine with that. If I get hurt like in 2 months from now or even tomorrow and say you can't wrestle no more, like, you know what, I tried. So yeah, I wouldn't be mad at myself if I stopped wrestling like tomorrow because I tried.
Right. Well, if you're doing something you love, the best advice I could give anybody as far as that goes is like, don't let that go. Like, keep working at it.
Yeah, try it.
And hey, like, you might not, and I know you said before that you haven't really like thought about really trying out too much for any of those or for any of it in general. But if it's like in your brain, like just kind of keep that
keep it there.
Like, keep it there, and like you never know. Like maybe you should just be like, what the hell? Why don't I just try it out and see what happens? Because you never, like, you could go and love it, and then you're like, I have to do this. So yeah, I mean, I feel like if you really push yourself, Z, like you could do it because I know you actually love that.
Right, I would, but like I said, I don't know what life could happen. I can't just be totally set on doing this and not have a backup plan. Hence why I'm going to college.
Right. No, yeah, I respect that 100%. And there's nothing wrong with that because I'm one to where if I am not like planned or situated or have an idea of something or a backup plan for anything, like it kind of freaks me out. Like I want to be prepared and I want to know what I'm getting myself into. And
I mean, it's really weird. I mean, I can't really say to people like, oh, this is cool. Like, I mean, I think it's cool, but like to the guy who just like watches UFC or football, it's like, this is not cool. This is pretty lame. This is pretty weird.
No, I get what you mean there. I mean, like, well, and then over the years, like when I talk to people about it, some people are like, they're like, oh my gosh, that's so fake and stupid. And it's like,
and I'd be like, and I'd be like, yeah.
There.
And I'd be like, yeah, 100%. Reality TV is not really real. It's everything is scripted, man. The only thing is not scripted is the news.
Well, and then here's the thing too. Like, yes, it is scripted, but look how many of them have gotten hurt. Like, can't wrestle anymore. Like, look at Paige. Love her so much. Love her so much. She's what, like, I think 25, maybe.
She's in her 20s.
Yeah, she's in her 20s still, and we don't really know if she'll be able to wrestle ever again because of her neck injury. I mean, I can probably go on and on with a list of people who can't wrestle anymore, or people who have come back like Edge after nearly 10 years. Like, you just never know. Like, they are risking their bodies and it like doing a lot more than people know.
Perceive,
perceive.
Everyone's like, oh, it's a trampoline out there. I was like, man, I wish it was a trampoline. I really wish. I could see your picture. I took a picture. It was actually underneath the ring. It's just 2x4s in the metal frame and a little bit of a 2-inch thick wrestling mat if you're lucky, and then ropes. Maybe it's elevator cables, but it's just ropes and metal turnbuckles. So like, I've seen someone
like.
Yeah, so I've seen someone,
like, you're getting slammed on that mat constantly, and they work 300 out of 365 days a year. Yeah. They are nonstop. Like, that is a lot on someone's body. And that's why that even goes for pretty much almost any sport. Like, football is probably one of the next ones that you can kind of relate it to as far as how much they're putting their bodies into it with tackling and such. Like, it's crazy.
But the difference is, I would say, the NFL, NHL, soccer, hockey, whatever, they have off seasons. Like,
Right.
If you get into the WWE and you had a full-time schedule, there is no off
Right.
season. You get a few days off a year. If you get hurt, that's the time off. I think you go home for Christmas. I think New Year's, but I think every other day, like you would be on the road or wrestling or doing media events. It's just no wonder when there's a lot of videos like TMZ of wrestlers being like angry and snooty at the airport. It's like, bro, they're running off 4 hours of sleep.
Right. Or less, or like not even any. Like it's crazy. Well, and then not again another reason why they are on the road constantly is, yes, they do live shows, but then they have, like, for example, at least with WWE, that like before coronavirus, they had WWE Live where they didn't tape it. So you're talking about they're literally doing this every single night, basically,
right,
on like repeat. Like they don't get as much relaxation as people might think, or like there's just a lot that goes into it, and I give them a lot of credit because yes, when I was younger, I was like, you know what, I'm going to be a badass and I'm going to be a wrestler, and then I was like, you know how much working out they do and how much conditioning they do. Like, listen, I want to get in better shape and take care of myself, but it's a crazy, awesome industry.
It's awesome, painful, somewhat depressing, somewhat scary. But that can also be said about any industry, like including acting. Like as many as there are like Michael B. Jordans and John Cena's, there are 16, probably 15 different Jared Leto's and Kane's and Chris Benoit's. Like there's this, as much as there are good actors and wrestlers, there are the people who struggle and don't make it. So
yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it's a grinder. I would say it's a grind, but it will grind you up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like I guess the best example for an actor would be like Christian Bale. Like if you ever seen how he looks in different movies and what he puts his body through, think about it. He's been like skinny, like literally like legit skinny, and then like overweight, and then fit in different movies in different times, and then like Chris Jericho, who's been wrestling since early 90s. That man's 50 now with like 2 kids and he's still wrestling. Like, okay, that man's body has to be breaking down. You know what I mean?
Right. It's, yeah. And it, like I said, like even with the acting industry, it's crazy what people are willing to do for their roles. Like Heath Ledger, rest in peace, love that man so much. He's one of the greatest. But I mean, he went so far with the Joker, and he did a beautiful performance. But it's just stuff that it gets scary, and you just don't know or realize. Like
method acting is like it's the same thing in wrestling. Because I'm not going to break any, I'm not going to cause anyone like a brain damage doing this. But like there's things called kayfabe, which basically meant you treat the events and actions of the ring as legitimate. Now, the best example of that would be Stan Hansen. At one point, and many points of his life, because you play the bad guy, and bad guy's supposed to be like, oh, screw this, and your family stinks, and your family's stupid, and he's just getting as much hate as possible. Mm-hmm. There are many times you can look up on YouTube of Stan Hansen being escorted out of the building by police because he can't go out of the building without police escort because he will get jumps. There've been many wrestlers in the Pittsburgh indie scene, like in the Pittsburgh area, where they treat kayfabe like real events, and wrestlers been stabbed or stalked or got into fights because it was treated as a real thing.
Yeah, that's so scary though. Like, yeah. Wow.
I mean, there's some people like that now. Like, best I guess would be at one point Mike Mizanin or The Miz. At one point when he won the WWE Championship, people hated him, even though we all know it's wrestling. Like, it's wrestling. But people
I love The Miz, though. Like, he's like great.
He's great. But like at one point, everyone hated him. Same with if you look up a wrestler, an AEW wrestler like MJF, he's a snobby rich boy. If you watch him, you're like, oh, this guy's a prick. And then we all know it's wrestling, right? We all know it's just a character he's playing. But there's many, many, many a video where he's acting his snobby rich boy gimmick in person. Like there's a picture. He's at a fan access type of show for like indie wrestlers. And the kid asked him, like kid went to his dad to get a picture with them, with Maxwell. And then he's sticking the middle finger at the kid as the picture's being taken, and that kid accepted the photo. It's a real thing. You can look it up. He's flipping off a kid. He's flipping off a kid. He takes his character really realistically. Like he's like, I'm a snobby rich dude. So he's gonna act like a dick. That's his thing. Like that's him. And if you look it up, you're like, that's amazing. Some of us not like that, but he's like that. It's just, but he's entertaining. Right. I love him. Like I would never know how the real MJF is, but I don't want to know because he's so entertaining. I don't want to lift the veil now. I don't want to pull back the curtain on that guy. So I mean,
right.
I don't know. It's just that's the best example of method acting I can give in professional wrestling, especially like modernly. Like I guess you would say the Undertaker, but we've seen what he looks like without the whole smoke and the fog and all that. We've seen that, but no one's ever seen like MJF not being MJF. Like we all seen Kane as the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee, but we haven't seen MJF outside of MJF. So I mean, I don't know. It's just a different person, basically. I don't know. It's the same thing but different context.
Yeah. I got you. Like you said before, you're going to school for criminal justice. So right. What drove you to do that?
I have a couple of family members who are actually like back in my home state of Mississippi who are like police officers and like sheriff's deputies. I think one's a sheriff too. But like, so I have definitely family who's like in policing. And I think it's a job that I would like to do because I actually like living in our hometown. And everyone like, oh, I hate this town. It's so boring. It's like, nah, man, you don't understand. I'm from like the poor state of the Union. This town is awesome to me. So like, I would love to like get my degree, get trained to be a cop, and then like come back here. I mean, yeah, I think helping the community in that way would be better. I can stick around, I can get paid, I get benefits. It's just, I think it's more convenient than anything else. Plus, who didn't want to be a detective when you were a kid, So like
Exactly.
You can't tell me you didn't want to be like, oh, you didn't want to solve crimes, oh man, come on.
Right.
So I mean, I like criminal justice. It's fun. It's interesting. So I mean, yeah.
Well, that's good that you're enjoying that.
Right.
I love that.
People are surprised I haven't changed my major. Everyone around me has changed their major at least once. Yeah.
Interesting.
I know one girl who's changed.
Better. The sooner the better is how I would say it then, because there are people in this world who like they go to school for something and then they've been working now for many, many years and they hate it. And it's like, oh, I wish I would have changed it to this, or you know what I mean? So the sooner the better. So like I just think it's very important to go after what you love and do what you actually want to do with your life, because if you don't, like, then you will literally live in regret. Like you don't want to do that.
Yeah, don't waste your money trying to appease people. Why I go to college to do this degree? Because my mom, I'm like, wait, hold on. If you got to pay back those loans, man, you might as well do something you like.
100%.
You might as well do it.
Follow your dreams. You have to follow your dreams. You have to do what makes you happy.
Yeah, like just please do what you want to do. I don't care if it's detailing a car for 15 hours a day. Do what you want to do. I'm like, I don't care.
Preach.
If you love working at sheets, and you have to do it. I don't just be happy.
Serious. No, for real. Like you're being, it's the truth. Like if that's what you want to do with your life, then do it. Because again, like I would rather, at least for me, and I'm definitely repeating myself, like I would rather be doing what I love, which is literally anything in the industry that I'm choosing to be in, than working at an office from 9 to 5, sitting at a computer all day. Like I know I wouldn't like that, but some people do, and that's fine. But like you need to make sure that's what you want to do with your life. You know, like hey, you're talking about that's the job you're going to be working, and then eventually you'll get married, and then you'll have kids. Like you want to make sure you're enjoying your life,
right? Especially if you feel like all of the like the societal pressures, like you get married by what's the age, what's the new age now? 27, have
Yeah,
kids by
something like that.
31.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I told people, it's like, bro, do you understand we live in like one of the greatest generations where like you can have a kid at like 35 and be financially stable versus at 27 you're probably like 3 years out of college,
Give or take the
program,
career,
the
like,
college.
yeah, and what path you chose to go down.
If I could say to anybody, I was like, don't set these societal milestones. Like, right, I can't put my life on the planet. It's just there's too many factors to like, especially life as a wrestler, and like, because if I would love to say, to any wrestler, like, hey man, here's what you do: you save up $2,000, you move yourself to Florida, you try out for the PC, the Performance Center, for anyone who does much wrestling. You try out for that, you get in, and then you get hired. You work NXT, work to the main roster, and bing, bada boom, bro, you made it. But like, it's not how it works.
It's
like,
there's a lot more that goes into it.
And I wish it was simple, because I can tell you, even WWE right now, there's a lot more wrestlers who are from the indie scene, such as AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, hell, in some cases, Randy Orton. He's not from the PC, he's from Illinois. A lot of them are from the indie scene, like Sami Zayn, El Generico, Kevin Owens is now, he was Kevin Steen. There's a lot of people from the indie scene, but they still have a Performance Center. And he's like, oh, that's the gateway. That's the pipeline, right? Like, nope. Only person that successfully came from PC to WWE and became a big champion was Charlotte Flair. And some people argue it's only because she's the daughter of Ric Flair.
Yeah, I disagree with that. No, I disagree with that, because Charlotte, I think, is one of the best women's wrestlers. She knows her shit. Like, that's bottom line. And she's good at her job. So,
like, a lot of people describe her as like, well, you know how it is. It's like politics, man. Like, she's the daughter of Ric Flair. Like, of course she's gonna be successful. Like, I mean, yeah, but she's also a good wrestler. And people say, well, what about Bayley? She's from the PC. It's like, nah, you can actually find her in the Indies. They invited her to the PC. Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, pretty much everyone in the women's division, almost everyone, except for Bianca Belair. I don't think she's from the Indies. She came straight from the PC. They're from the Indies. So, like, there's no completely roadmap to, like, being successful.
Right.
So, like, I mean, it's just how you look at it. It's a one hell of like a jigsaw puzzle for wrestling what you can do. So, I mean,
acting is a jigsaw puzzle, man. You never know. Yeah.
You can end up on a sitcom for 25 years, or you can just keep doing movies until the day you die. Like, literally, Betty White has done a couple movies, Golden Girls, for like 6 years, and then she keeps popping up in random movies and commercials.
God bless her soul. She's like almost 100. I think she's like 98.
It, bro.
God bless her soul. God bless that woman's soul. Oh, she's a queen.
But like, right. So like, but like, it's different from like how John Cena became super famous. He was a wrestler. He was actually a football player for college, then a wrestler for years, then tried acting, and now he's in a bunch of Experian commercials, and he's still famous.
Right. Yeah, so, he's been killing it. So
yeah, same with Dwayne Rock Johnson.
I got to meet him, and he's probably one of the greatest guys ever. Even if it was just a few minutes, he was very sweet. Gave me a hug. Love that man. Right. He gave me. Every time I go to meet somebody, especially if they're an actor, I always ask for advice, just because why not? Like, I'm going to be an actor. So. He was just very sweet, very supportive, gave me advice, of course. And, those are the kind of people you like to speak with and be around and work with. So, I mean, if I got to work with John Cena, I'd be like, knock on wood. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Do you remember Darren Young? He was in the Nexus at one point.
Yes.
I met him when I was like 13, right? Like at the airport. I have a picture of it. And I remember you commented on it. And he's been out of WWE for like years now, but it will bring me so much joy if I can meet him now and just like, hey, dude, guess what? I'm a freaking wrestler now. Or at the best, I get to wrestle him. That would be completely full circle. Because he still kind of wrestles once in a while, but like, it's just, that would be kind of cool to do.
Right.
Right. Like I kind of have a mini cycle. Like I went to my first independent wrestling show in 2017. 6 to 8 months later, I started training. And over the course of 2 years since I started doing actual shows, I've met everyone on that first show I went to, and now I'm friends with. I'm missing one person to complete it. It's so hard to get to them or be around
That's
them.
so cool.
But I'm literally at one person left. Everyone else I've met or wrestled.
That's really cool, dude.
Yeah, so
not a lot of people can say that they've done that, so that is really cool.
Yeah, so like
that you get to do that.
If I can wrestle, I'll check that off my list. It's just
Darren Young, where are you at?
Yeah, I will wrestle Darren Young too.
Where are you at? My friend here wants to wrestle you. Let's go. Let's get it set up.
I will definitely do it. He does a lot of the Pride show, like a Pride wrestling show, like pro LGBTQ wrestling shows, and like I will still do it. I'm part of the LGBTQ community, so like I was like, oh yeah, I don't care, let's throw it down. Like I don't care.
Right? Yeah.
Well, let's go. Like I'll do it. It's just one of those things, you know.
Right.
I can tell you what I actually
Apollo Crews.
Is that because I smile too much? He smiles all the time. Like I love him. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, he's adorable. I love Apollo.
You want to know his indie name was?
I don't think he wants to be called adorable, but he has the cutest smile. I love his smile.
You'll never guess what his indie name was. Like his used to be stage name. Ready?
I'm ready. I'm listening.
U-Ha Nation. That was his name. U-Ha Nation. He was so aggressive. Like if you look it up, type in U-Ha. He was like the most aggressive high flyer.
Nation.
Bro, it was so fun. He wasn't Apollo. He's not from the PC. Everyone's like, oh, he's from the PC. It's like, nah.
That's actually a pretty dope name.
Yeah, a long beard. He had a longer beard than he has now, and he was great.
I'm gonna have to look this up.
You can watch him versus Ricochet. It's a promotion called PWG.
Ricochet. Oh my gosh, that man. Okay, first of all, he's super sweet. I didn't really get to like meet him, but when I went to go, when I went to go meet Becky, because I love Becky Lynch so much. She's one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. I went to go meet her, and then I finally met Seth. I love those two together.
Do you know they're also in the Indies? They're also not from the PC.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever look up Tyler Black? How he used to be? Ain't that some wild stuff? You wanna know what else is weird? I believe I could be wrong, but there's a lot of like stories linking Becky Lynch and Finn or Prince Devitt.
Mm-hmm.
Devitt trained Becky, I believe.
I believe you are correct because I remember hearing like stories about them too. Like they've known each other for a really long time.
And they're both in WWE. That's kind of crazy.
That is. I think it's really cool though. It's like full circle, like reunion, type of thing.
And Ricochet used to be in the Indies as Ricochet or King Ricochet, and he used to be in Lucha Underground as Prince Puma. That is him. If you didn't know, that is Ricochet. So, yeah, he's been on TV multiple times.
Well, and like I was saying before, when I met him, I was taking photos with Becky, and he photobombed us.
Oh yeah.
And you probably saw the picture because I posted it, and I didn't realize, and then Becky and I took another photo because I didn't know until I looked at my phone. And the guy, when I was walking away, he was like, "You got lucky," and I was like, it didn't really click in my brain. And I was like, yeah, I just met Becky. Like, who doesn't like Becky Lynch? And then I looked at my phone and I said, oh,
Ricochet.
I said, sir, I caught you. And then as I was leaving, I was like, I caught you. I see now what you did. And he just started laughing as I walked out. And like all of them were really great.
Right.
Well, there were others that went. It's called Ringside Fest in New York.
Yeah, but I can actually tell you what I've been like typecasted as a wrestler, I guess you would say. I'm always I've always been played the underdog because I'm like 5'4". I'm like I'm not 200 pounds. If I was 200 pounds, I'd be a walking marshmallow, a burnt marshmallow. Like if I was that heavy, like I'm smaller than everyone else. Like I'm 5'4", or I guess sometimes I'm 5'5", depending on what topographic land I'm on. If I'm Pittsburgh, I'm 5'4". If I'm up in West Virginia, I'm 5'5", whatever. But I'm like 5'4", and everyone's like 5'6", or 6'2",
You
6'10".
wrestle some big dudes.
I
Yeah.
wrestle some big dudes, and I've even faced a few women. And everyone's like, "What?" Like, yeah, I
Wow.
support. If we're gonna have equal rights and feminism, we can wrestle. It's wrestling. Come on, like it's fiction. Like just let it happen. If Black Widow can take out a whole security team and send it to Thanos, a woman can face another dude in the ring. That's my point on it.
Case closed.
But like the first woman I ever wrestled, she was like 5'7". She was taller than me. So like,
Did she kick your ass?
oh yeah, she kicked me straight in the face. Clap her in the face, man. I love her. You can look it up now. It's Queen Amanadi versus Amanada versus Zeke Mercer. The whole match is on YouTube. I enjoyed that match. It was fun. That was my first intergender. So like, I love it. And when I do get to play a bad guy, it is so fun. I just play a guy who talks all this shit and gets his ass kicked. It's so fun. So fun. I remember one story. I was in Altoona. It was a wrestling show. And I'm playing a bad guy in a tag team match. So this guy's trying to lift me up and put me on my back. I flip out and land on my knee. I land on my knee. I act like I'm hurt. I'm screaming like, oh my God, my knee. The ref knows I'm playing it up. The wrestlers know I'm playing it up. That's what's supposed to happen. But what happened was, as the crowd was like getting into the match and I faked my injury, everyone went silent. The actual medical doctor, because PA requires you to have an actual nurse or a doctor at shows, he jumped the barricade to get in because I was screaming. I was playing it up. I was acting like a complete person, like a complete fool. And as that's happening, my tag team partner knew that was a signal. Kneed the guy in the face, got the 1, 2, 3, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, it just happened!" Everyone was like, "Oh, I hate you." Everyone, stuff was getting thrown at me. People were calling me, "Oh, you cheater!" It was so great. I think that's one of my best moments of the year.
I know, I love that. Because even though I haven't been able to come actually see you wrestle in person yet, like I watched some of the videos, like you do great and you pull off stuff really well. So
I just find it funny that I made the actual person, like the doctor, think I was hurt. He like walked me to the back and said, "I thought you was hurt." He's like, "I am a wrestler. That is my job." It's like, the worst injury I ever had, I guess, in real life. It was when I was training. Actually, I actually bruised my ribs.
Ooh, what happened?
I went to train Sunday. Worked out, I guess, a little bit too hard. Woke up Monday, and I was slept on a bunk bed with Eli, my brother, who anyone doesn't know. And then I got out of bed. I usually just jump down. That's like I don't use a ladder, man. It's early morning. Just roll over, jump down, you'll be fine. But when I jumped down this day, I completely just hit the floor. I couldn't land. I tried to get up.
Laughing, but like I can't.
But I think it was funny. I laughed too. I was like, "Oh, that's funny." I just couldn't land today, and I was like, "Oh, I know why I couldn't land." I bruised my ribs, and I was like, "Hey, Ma, you know about those senior skip days? It's March. I haven't used one yet. Let me just use this one." And then another injury was, by the way, all these injuries were never like I've been off the on the shelf for like months at a time. It's always been like, "Ow, that sucked. Let's move on." And
Right.
so like one time, another tag team match where I actually got hurt. It was a spot where me and my tag team partner at the time did a double move on a guy. We were both covered, and his partner decided to do a swanton, Jeff Hardy's finisher, on enough to break up the pin. Well, where I was positioned and his back, how his point of back was, he kind of landed where my ankle was and completely crushed my ankle. So I sprained my ankle. But I finished the match. We had 5 minutes left to do it. I was like, I'm going to finish this. We can go home. I can just ice it.
Good
I finished up. But it's not the worst injury people had, but that's my injury story. I'm only 2 years into this, technically. So, yeah. I haven't really hurt anything else. I mean,
well, that's good.
Yeah. But I'm still fine. I can still move my ankle and all that.
You got it.
That was very painful. I remember just Like 1, 2, bam, and then like
Have you ever rolled your ankle?
yeah, playing volleyball in
Oh
middle school.
gosh. It is the like, oh, and then you hear the snap and oh my gosh. I've done it a couple times and oh my
It
god.
killed me.
Oh, that hurts, dude. That does hurt.
I'm waiting for my knees to give out.
My knees have already okay, so tore my ACL when I was 14, 15.
Dude.
Got the surgery, all Gucci. And then we're in dance class at my first year at school. And we were doing like this like sequence. And the way I landed after a jump, my knee just cracked. I dislocated my kneecap. And I've been dealing with that for a year and a half now, probably.
Look, if I get hurt, I'm like, just let me lay down. Just don't touch me. Just let me lay down. Because I'm already annoyed. Like if I get hurt, I'm annoyed. It's not even like I'm in pain, but like I'm annoyed. I don't know. I'm a weird person.
We're all a little weird.
Oh yeah, we all a little weird.
All right. Well, Z, thank you so much for doing this. I'm so happy you got to do it.
I'm sorry for all the Eli interference and then the phone stuff. You can cut that out.
It's fun. Hey, it happens. Technology's never perfect.
Just cut it out of the video. Just edit just a little iMovie magic. Slink.
Right, exactly. Well, of course I'll keep in touch with you. So I'm sure I'll see you soon though. Take care of yourself. Much love. And we'll talk soon.
All right.
See you. I send my love. Tell the fam I said hello and tell Eli I love him.
Okay.
Because he wants to say that I don't.
All right.
All right. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.